Here's what I know. You can plan the perfect launch on paper and still feel like you're crawling to the finish line. You hit your deadlines, you show up for your audience, you do everything you were supposed to. And if you're being honest, it didn't feel great. Not in your body, not in your bank account, not on your nervous system. You already know this pace isn't sustainable. What you might not realize is the launch itself isn't usually the problem. It's how it was structured, or more accurately, how it wasn't built with you in mind. I'm Sherry Moyse, intuitive business astrologer and launch strategist. This is part 3 of my behind the scenes of an AstroStrategic Launch series, where I've been walking you through what most launches miss. Your strategy isn't working if it leaves you empty. Because the problem with most launch strategies, they're designed to keep the calendar full, not to keep you in your power. They overlook your energy, they ignore your capacity, and they rarely consider what your audience is actually ready for. That's why even seasoned entrepreneurs burn out. They follow a plan that's technically right, but energetically off. And when that happens, it doesn't just cost you sales, it costs you motivation and confidence and the momentum to show up for the next round. The difference is timing. It's not just on the surface, it's energetic. So let's talk about behind the scenes what an AstroStrategic launch planning really looks like. When I support clients with launch planning, we're not just choosing dates. We're mapping when your audience is most likely to notice and respond, when your message needs to be bold versus soft versus clear or connected, when you need time to prep, rest, and show up fully, and how all of this fits in a way that creates traction and not exhaustion. This is where strategy meets right timing, where sales don't require pushing, and where you stop second guessing your plan halfway through the launch. Because here's what I know. Launches don't have to break you to work. If you've been in this game long enough, you've probably felt both ends of the spectrum. The launch that technically performed but left you depleted, the launch that looked good on paper but didn't convert, the one you quietly buried because you never want to feel that way again. This blog series has walked you through what most launch strategies miss. In part 1, we looked at why timing creates momentum. In part 2, we explored how seasonality shapes audience readiness. And here in part 3, we're closing the loop because if your energy isn't part of the plan, the rest doesn't hold. So you've launched before, you've done the work. Now you want a plan that's guided by data, aligned with your energy and designed to deliver without overdoing it. That's what I do inside AstroStrategic Launch Support. Together, we map out a strategy that matches your offer to the right season, aligns your timeline with your real energetic capacity, builds momentum without burnout, gets your offer in front of people who are ready to say yes. This is where the real traction starts, not because you pushed harder, but because everything is working in sync. If you're tired of carrying the full weight of a launch, the pacing, the pressure, the second guessing, let's make this next one different. You don't have to figure it out alone. This is the kind of strategic support that changes everything, not because you're doing more, but because you're finally doing it at the right time. Let's get your next launch on track. I invite you to book a Cosmos coffee chat and let's explore the right timing that fits your goals, timeline, and energy. All right, my friends, I would love to know your thoughts on launching and where it's depleted you, where it's supported you, and what you'd like to see different next time. Leave me a comment down below. And if you're interested in looking at a different way to launch, one that takes all of the things into account, right timing, audience readiness, and your energy, book a Cosmos Coffee chat and let's talk.